Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? Please have your tickets in hand before you board the plane. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Johan Castell and you're watching Wings. On the show today, we tell you about all the important dates of the Mahakumbh Mela 2025 and what updates the latest union budget has in store for the tourism industry. We also feature tunnels under London that will transform from a spy center to a tourist attraction. Let's begin. Today's first story is about the important dates during the Mahakumbh Mela, as we are about halfway through the mega event. Take a look. This is the Mahakumbh Mela. It is the largest gathering of humanity on the planet. This mega spiritual event takes place in 4 locations across India every 12 years. This year's edition is in Prayagraj, the most prominent location of the 4 cities hosting the festival, and the only one allowing such a large number of people to participate. How many people are we talking about? An estimated 450 million people will attend this festival in Uttar Pradesh before it ends on February 26. This special spiritual event lasts for 6 weeks and consists of 6 auspicious important dates. The festival's first day was Paush Purnima on January 13. The next day was the first Amrit Snan, or Royal Bathing Day, on Makar Sankranti. The second Amrit Snan was on January 29. This month we witnessed the main Royal Bathing Day, which took place around Basant Panchami on February 3rd. But what is the importance of Basant Panchami? It symbolizes the transition of seasons and celebrates the arrival of Lord Saraswati, or the goddess of knowledge in Hindu mythology. Basant Panchami marks the beginning of spring and is an auspicious day for new beginnings. After that occasion, one of the defining highlights of the festival this year was when Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the event with Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath to take a dip in the sacred rivers at Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj on February 5th. The remaining vital dates are now Maghi Purnima on February 12th and the closing of the Mahakumbh Mela that takes place on Maha Shivratri on February 26th. For many sadhus, the bathing day on Basant Panchami was the last big bathing day, and they now move on to either Varanasi or Ayodhya for Shivratri. Meanwhile, countless civilian devotees will visit the Mahakumbh Mela during the remaining days of the world's largest human spiritual gathering. India is set to experience a tourism revolution as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman unveils an ambitious plan to transform the country's top 50 tourist destinations. Let's examine how these efforts will shape India's future as a leading tourist hub.
India's rich cultural and spiritual heritage is poised to shine brighter on the global tourism map. Thanks to the initiatives announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Union Budget 2025-26.
Tourism for employment-led growth. Top 50 tourist destination sites in the country will be developed in partnership with states through a challenge mode. Land for building key infrastructure will have to be provided by the states. Hotels in these destinations will be included in the infrastructure harmonized list.
With a keen eye on fostering economic growth through tourism, Sitharaman outlined an extensive plan to develop the top 50 tourist destinations nationwide in partnership with state governments. Rolled out through a challenge mode, this initiative focuses not only on elevating infrastructure and accessibility, but also on enhancing India's position as a key player in global tourism, primarily spiritual and heritage tourism, with special emphasis on locations associated with the life and teachings of Lord Buddha. India's tourism industry, long celebrated for its cultural diversity and spiritual significance, is about to undergo a transformative phase. Fueled by a 25,041 crore rupees or $30.49 million allocation for infrastructure development, skill building and better travel facilitation in the 2025-26 Union Budget. The government's focus is clear: strengthen the tourism sector to become a significant engine for economic growth and job creation as the country works towards becoming a developed nation by 2047. India's tourism sector has already made remarkable strides. In financial year 2023, the industry regained its pre-pandemic contribution to GDP, hitting 5% and generating over 7.6 crore or 76 million jobs. International tourist arrivals have returned to pre-pandemic levels, with foreign exchange earnings from tourism reaching $28 billion. Focusing on the top 50 tourist destinations, sites across India will be developed through a collaborative, challenge-based model with state governments. This will ensure that these key destinations are equipped with world-class facilities, bolstering connectivity and making them easily accessible for domestic and international visitors. State governments are encouraged to provide land for critical infrastructure, such as hotels and convention centers, to support this ambitious project. One of the standout features of this year's budget is the government's focus on spiritual tourism. Recognizing the profound cultural and historical significance of pilgrimage sites, the government is placing a special emphasis on destinations tied to the life and teachings of Lord Buddha. These sites are expected to become major international attractions, drawing pilgrims and tourists from across the globe. The Indian government's forward-thinking budget plan demonstrates a strong commitment to developing tourism as a key pillar of economic growth. By focusing on a blend of heritage, spiritual and sustainable tourism, the country is well positioned to become a premier global destination. The tourism sector, which already plays a vital role in employment generation, is set to expand significantly, contributing even more to India's GDP while positioning the nation as a global leader in cultural and spiritual tourism.
In the heart of London lies a secret underground world, a network of tunnels with a rich history from World War II. Once home to a secret telephone exchange, these tunnels are now being transformed into a major tourist attraction. Our next story brings you the details.
Tucked away behind a blue door in a quiet London passage is a forgotten network of tunnels stretching deep underground. Once the home of British spies and a secret long-distance telephone exchange, this mysterious site lies 30 meters below the capital's busy streets. The tunnels, built to survive a nuclear attack, were initially constructed during World War II. They were designed to protect the Britain from Nazi forces.
Built by the British to defend Britain against Nazi Germany, basically, and then expanded as a telecommunication exchange later, 1950 to 52. So the whole system is nearly a mile long, as I said, 30 metres below London. Now you can hear the tube going above us. and it's intended to reopen it as a tourist attraction, honouring the history and heritage of London with some culture and arts. It was intended as a deep level shelter, but the first actual thing that it used for was a special operations executive, and the special operations executive, a branch of MI6. Guy Ritchie's done a good movie on it recently, and that actually inspired Ian Fleming, when he was down here, to describe this as Q Branch in James Bond, and that's part of the literary novelty to the practicality of the Special Operations Executive.
The tunnels beneath the Holborn district were originally built as air raid shelters during the Blitz. In 1944, they became the headquarters of the Special Operations Executive, a covert group set up by Prime Minister Winston Churchill to support European resistance movements against Nazi Germany. The SOE, which operated separately from MI6, is thought to have inspired the Q branch in Ian Fleming's James Bond novels. Following the war, the tunnels served as storage for sensitive documents and a potential backup site for war rooms. In the 1950s, with the Cold War in full swing, the government expanded the site to house a top-secret long-distance telephone exchange. This exchange, central to Cold War communications, operated the first transatlantic telephone cable, TAT-1. The hotline between Moscow and Washington, established after the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, relied on this connection. There are also rooms with plugs and switches where operators once manually connected calls. The site covers over 8,000 square meters and employs up to 200 people who work away from natural light. It featured amenities like a bar, a restaurant with fake windows, and a recreational space with snooker tables. However, by the late 1980s, telecommunications technology had advanced, and the complex essentially was outdated. British Telecom decommissioned the site, and it was put up for sale in 2008. The tunnels lay abandoned for years, with only the occasional explorer daring to venture inside. Graffiti on the walls and discarded beer cans were the only reminders of their forgotten past. In 2023, Angus Murray, a former executive at Macquarie Group, purchased the site and set plans in motion to revitalize it. He aims to spend more than $200 million, transforming it into an attraction that draws 2 million visitors annually.
I think that we need to respect the people, the men and women that sacrificed themselves to give us all the democratic rights we have today. And that happened, it's happened many times, but it certainly happened during the Second World War. So bringing back that history and showing people what happened during that time, I think hopefully is respectful of them, but also respectful ultimately of all of the sacrifices that those men and women made during that time.
Over to China now, where staged rural tourist scenes go viral and stoke nostalgia. Take a look.
In the misty corners of eastern China, an elderly farmer leads a buffalo through a grove of twisted trees, a quiet scene seemingly pulled from a rural dream. Behind him, a woman in a straw hat trudges along, balancing heavy pails of water, the soft sound of the buffalo's hooves on the damp earth barely breaking the serene silence. Yet, this tranquil moment is anything but organic. A group of visitors, armed with smartphones, enthusiastically snap photos, their chatter disrupting the supposed peace of the countryside. Welcome to Shahpu, a rural town in Fujian province, where time itself seems to be for sale. Here, residents have found a way to capitalize on nostalgia, staging idyllic farming scenes for tourists eager to relive a simpler pastoral China that's rapidly disappearing in the wake of industrialization and urban expansion. Tourists pay as much as 300 yuan or $40 to capture images of this manufactured rural beauty. The countryside of old has become a stage, and the props, buffaloes, traditional clothing, and anything else that conjures up the nostalgia visitors crave. A search of Shapu online returns hundreds of stunning photographs of farmers, water buffaloes, and misty mornings. Posts flood platforms like TikTok and Xiaohongshu, accompanied by travel guides offering tips on the best places for the perfect shot.
We heard about this place online as a popular place for people to check in. Although we are in our senior years, we believe that older people should enjoy life too. Our tour group came all the way from Liuzhou, led by a tour guide.
Shapu has become a hotspot for those who long to reconnect with their rural roots. In the 1980s, only 20% of China's population lived in cities. Today, nearly 2/3 do. This shift has sparked a trend among many to look back at the simpler times before China's breakneck urbanization. For many visitors, Shapu is a paradise where the old way of life is accessible. For the locals, however, it's a business that's thriving.
It brings back childhood memories for many of us who come from farming families. I used to go herd cattle, but as life has improved, most families stopped keeping cattle. It brings back childhood memories when I went out with my siblings to herd cattle.
Yet, the heart of this spectacle lies in the buffaloes themselves. Chen Weizuo owns a small herd that poses daily for paying customers. A former farmer, Chen started renting a buffalo from a neighbor for photos, but over the years, business has boomed.
I'm not into taking photos myself. I enjoy leading the buffalo, setting up the scenes and guiding people on where and how to shoot. It's much more relaxed. Now I spend my days under the banyan trees. In the summer, it's cool, and when guests come, I chat and joke with them.
Through this peaceful facade, Shapu has become a testament to the power of nostalgia, bridging a rural past that was never quite as idyllic as it now seems. It is a place where memory meets marketing, and the line between reality and fantasy blurs with every camera click.
In the heart of Mogadishu, a memorable moment unfolds as Somalia's first female equestrian rides through the bustling streets on her chestnut horse. Discover how her passion for horses is reshaping the future of women in Somalia. A surprising sight recently caught the attention of passers-by in the bustling streets of Mogadishu. A woman dressed head to toe in black, wearing a cowboy hat and riding a horse through the chaotic traffic of tuk-tuks and motorbikes. The woman in question is Shukri Osman Muse, a 25-year-old who just a year ago had never ridden a horse. Now she is a skilled equestrian, and the first woman in Somalia to ride a horse in the streets publicly.
Everyone feels excited when their dreams come true, and that is what I am experiencing now. It was my dream to ride a horse confidently through the streets of the city without fear of traffic or the reactions of people. I also wanted to show everyone that it is entirely normal for women to ride horses and that it is permissible according to our religion.
Dressed in a black cowboy hat and a full-length abaya, her only flash of color was her pink sunglasses while riding her chestnut horse. Despite the odds, Muse pursued her passion for equestrianism with determination.
I am delighted to be the first female equestrian in the country. It was a dream of mine for many years. I have faced numerous difficulties and challenges. There were no women in Mogadishu who dared to pursue this path. I didn't even know where to find horses in the city, but despite obstacles, I persevered and overcame them.
As a woman in conservative Somalia, she faced societal and gender barriers. But Muse is unwavering in her belief that women have the right to pursue any dream they set their minds to.
She is one of Somalia's women pioneers and the first female equestrian to ride a horse in Mogadishu. Her achievement is an inspiration to all Somali people, wherever they may be. This event also plays a significant role in raising awareness among our people about the importance of horses.
Her achievements have inspired not only her family but the community at large. Her sister, who runs a beauty salon with Muse, mentioned that the business has even received a boost thanks to customers' eagerness to take photos with the horse.
In 2024, my sister Shukri expressed her desire to learn horse riding. To me, it was a bold and challenging idea, as I had never seen a woman riding a horse in the city before. After months of dedication, she became a true equestrian. It is remarkable to witness her becoming the first female equestrian to ride a horse in Mogadishu. As a family, we are incredibly proud and fully support her in achieving her dreams.
The impact of Muse's breakthrough goes beyond inspiring women. Locals are now considering learning to ride horses themselves, a stark contrast to the often chaotic and cramped tuk-tuk traffic. That's all we have for you on the show in this week's episode of Wings, but we return with more travel content for you next weekend. Until then, it's me, Johan Castell, signing off as we leave you with visuals from China's Spring Festival celebrations. Goodbye.
This year's lanterns are beautiful. It gives me the feeling of visiting a temple fair in my childhood. The New Year flavor in Shaanxi is very strong.
I saw a lot of programs with ethnic minority characteristics after visiting the Lijiang ancient town. The different cultures felt very different from ours. Anyway, I liked it very much. It was the first time I felt such a warm and strong spring festival atmosphere.
Over 500 volunteers from our 13 service teams at the Yulong Snow Mountain Scenic Area are fully dedicated to assisting with receiving tourists. In addition to offering guidance and travel route consultations, we also provide visitors with complimentary candy, boiled water, and ginger syrup. We hope to make the visitor experience smoother, while also extending warm hospitality.